What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction, and this one we have the man behind Trump's anti-India stance. Why Trump must side with Pakistan. Before we dive in this video, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to support this channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit the join button to receive your exclusive benefits. And let's dive right in.
India, here we go. We're going to hopefully maybe give you a new name. Okay, you've got your Wickoffs, you've got your Gentry Beaches. Gave you those. Oh, there's this other guy. Okay, I was asking you all if you liked UFC fights, right? Okay, so a lot of you do. I do. I watch it. That's why I showed you the shirt the other day. Boom. Hey, UFC, UFC, or UFC. I'm not promoting UFC. I'm trying to give you a hint to connect the dots here, but sometimes you just people don't get it.
Dana White? Have to be Dana White.
Get it. So right. You got to get it for him. You can blame your media for this. This should have been out a long, long time ago. I'm only one person here with a really, really limited staff. Getting more limited. The more India videos I do, the more limited I get. Anyway, here we go. Watching this UFC fight, right? And if you notice the date, November 17th, 2020.
It's gonna be something with Dana White, dog.
Before. This is 12 days, I believe, around 12 days after President Trump was elected. So he's not president yet. Check this out. UFC. Trump tells RFK to get out of the way. You got somebody more important coming over to you. And you can see, like, look who's there. You got Tulsi Gabbard. You got all the Trump kids. You've got Michael Johnson. You've got
Jelly Roll.
Ramaswamy. You've got Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll's there.
I love that.
Elon Musk. And, whoa, stop the tape.
Yes.
Stop the tape. Elon Musk, and you've got this guy. Stop the tape right there. See those three people sitting there? Those three. Yeah. Elon Musk, Trump, and this other guy. Three people you see together right there are worth $1.2 trillion. Those three alone. Those three people, $1.2 trillion.
Like, it's just insane how three people can be worth more than the economy in a lot of countries. Three people. That's bonkers. Three people worth $1.2 trillion. There are people dying from starvation. There are people dying because they don't have access to health care. There are people dying from so many things because they're so poor. Because they work so hard, but still it's not enough. Yet there are three people worth $1.2 trillion. That's crazy.
If you were to use the 2024 GDP data from the IMF, a total of 177 countries have an economy smaller than these three people. Only 17 countries had a GDP exceeding 1.2 trillion in 2024. You know who two of them are for sure. You have Elon Musk and you have Donald Trump. Most people know that. But the gentleman that collected some interest here is the other guy. Now, I notice I go to UFC, I watch UFC fights, and everybody has the crypto.com shirts, right? I have one myself. I was wearing it yesterday for a video. Crypto.com. I'm not pushing the token. I'm not. I enjoy watching the fights, but I was trying to give you a hint. Yasir bin Othman Al-Rumayyan is a Saudi Arabian businessman who he's a governor of the PIF, the Public Investment Fund, the sovereign wealth fund of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He also chairs state-owned petroleum company, Saudi Aramco, and Saudi Arabia's largest mining company, Ma'adan, something like that. So
it's starting to make
the oil guy. He's the one who's losing money right now from the oil.
Hmm.
And he's also the one who's probably going to go into Balochistan, or is going to be owning most of Balochistan. Personally, there haven't been any reports of Rumayyan and Asima Noor, but the Saudi delegation that included officials from the PIF from he sent met with Pakistan chief Asima Noor in
For
April of 2024. You see, he's the governor. He makes the calls. Now, the meeting that they discussed enhanced the relations between and strategic cooperation between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. This came around the time General Amir had a reportedly briefed business community on a Saudi decision to invest $25 billion in Pakistan. This guy sitting next to Trump is investing $25 billion in Pakistan. Now,
jeez.
given his role as PIF governor, and given the time that he met with Donald Trump, this is when Donald Trump, remember, here, Donald Trump is free to do any kind of business he wants to. He's not the president yet. He still has another month to wait before he's inaugurated. Before he's been elected, but he hasn't been inaugurated. So he can make deals. And for this man to be sitting down next to him in the United States at a UFC fight struck me as odd. And most of the times when you have somebody who's investigating things and very curious about what's going on, you connect to it. You say, what's happening there? Now, when we go over the numbers here and what's going on with the oil, it's really interesting because you see, he chairs, like I said, the Saudi Aramco, the state-owned petroleum company,
Yeah.
as well as the largest mining company. In his capacity right now as governor of Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, the PIF again, his job is to oversee the significant right now and ongoing Saudi investment into Pakistan. The investments are part of a broader push to boost right now the Pakistan's economy with Saudi Arabia. With Saudi Arabia right now becoming Pakistan's largest external financer for the fiscal year of 2025 and 2026. Saudi is all in. They're going to finance Pakistan more than anybody else. America can't even hold a stick to what they're going to give them. The key Saudi investment initiatives in Pakistan are significant financial commitment. Saudi Arabia has pledged a total investment of up to $25 billion over the next 2 to 5 years, targeting various sectors to boost foreign direct investment. With the IMF support, the kingdom has played a crucial role in stabilizing Pakistan's finances, including the deposit of $2 billion in the central bank and helping it to unlock a $3 billion loan from the IMF. And then the expedited funding with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin.
This is crazy, bro. To think it's coming down to like it's the picture starting to be painted clearly. I'll just say the picture starting to be painted about what's really going on behind closed doors and what could, because of like I said, his first term, Trump and Modi was so good. Like it was like you saw them like you saw Trump go to India and get so much love. Modi comes to the U.S. get love. Like people, they're getting interviewed together. They're laughing. They're making jokes, and like this term, it's just like it was cool for like a week. I know it was cool for a little bit, and then it was just completely turned. Um, and of course, you're throwing out there because they're still buying oil from Russia, this and this. It's not the reason. We're starting to see more of a picture get painted from what we're seeing, right? This man has some personal motivations.
Salman has agreed to expedite investments with an initial allocation of $5 billion. Is anybody getting this yet? Who's he with? He's with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's making sure that stays safe. So when Trump's talking about, I told Pakistan we're not going to make the deal. We're not. Whose deal were you not going to make? Because the cards right now are in Saudi Arabia's hands. So the deal that Trump is protecting right now isn't the American deal. It's the Saudi deal. And if anybody out there, everybody should know that Jared Kushner, when he left his job the first time at the White House, went to Saudi Arabia and they invested $2 billion in him right away. And Kushner and the Trump family there is banking. like crazy in Saudi Arabia. Now Saudi Arabia is investing in the Reko Diq copper and gold mine, the construction of major oil refineries in Guadar. In recent agreements, on October 2024, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan signed 27 agreements worth $2.2 billion. And who's protecting this Saudi Arabia agreement with Pakistan? You see, Asim Noors, he's a little player in this game. He's just the middleman in a bigger fish's pond. And Pakistan's military leadership has confirmed that the memoranda understanding of the MOUs with Saudi Arabia are being implemented to promote economic cooperation. So Saudi Arabia could potentially suspend with that war that was going on in India. Saudi Arabia could have suspended or terminated the agreement with Pakistan if Pakistan went to war. Depending on the nature of the agreements and the specifics of the conflict, the international law, as outlined by the International Law Commission, does not automatically void a treaty when armed conflicts begin, but it does allow for termination or suspension under certain conditions. And that was definitely one. So this wasn't a Trump, I'll terminate my deals with you. This is a Trump, we will terminate Saudi Arabia's deals with you. So the cancellation of agreements.
Dang. That's actually like the fact that people be doing all this research and everything, like big shout out, because that's a lot of time, that's a lot of work, I feel like, to learn this information. But that's insane. And I mean, when it comes to Saudi Arabia, like when you talk about the oil over there, right? And you talk about the US and the oil, the US is always gonna side with the oil. Always. 100% of the time. And so that's crazy. And now they've invested so much money into Pakistan. I'm telling you, when that package, because I watched the video, when that Pakistan Army retired chief or somebody in the military or somebody in government or whoever he was, when he said that right, he basically admitted Pakistan had terrorists, but he basically admitted like we doing the dirty work for the West, like for the US, for them countries, like we doing a dirty work, right? Why they funding it? The US, these other countries in the West are funding it. They got investments in Pakistan. That's crazy. Yeah, that's insane.
Would likely be driven by Saudi Arabia's strategic interests, considering its investments and partnerships in other countries. For instance, Saudi Arabia is a major investor and oil supplier to Pakistan, but also growing an economic ties that they have with India. See, a war involving Pakistan could force Saudi Arabia to prioritize one relationship over the other, in which it had to do. But if it stayed out of the way, put the bad guy. Who's the bad guy? Trump. Trump loves to be the bad guy. It's no problem. He doesn't mind. But the PIF, let me get this out there, because it seeks to grow right now the sovereign wealth fund into one of the world's largest fundings available. They want the biggest bank account. And as of 2024, its assets had more than tripled since 2016.
God.
Tripled.
Dang.
Basically tripling a nation in assets.
Tripled.
And remember, in 2016,
in
what
8
happened?
years?
Well, Trump got elected.
Tripled?
Since then, they've tripled. And Jared Kushner and Affinity Partners, they gave $2 billion investment to, because months after Kushner left his senior White House role, his private equity firm, Affinity Partners, secured $2 billion investment from Saudi PIF. And this investment was made despite the objections from the fund's own financial advisors, who cited that Kushner's lack of experience is just wrong. You shouldn't have him over here. But they gave the boy $2 billion and said, here, do it. And we know that, and since then, the Trump organization has built golf courses in Saudi. And they even have a Saudi-funded golf tour, which is financially backed by who? The PIF, this guy. And the money that Trump is making, that these events are providing for the Trump administration, for Trump, is significant revenue, man. This is huge. These are branding deals. The Trump organization has also leveraged its brand to secure real estate and development deals in the Gulf, including Trump Tower project a Trump Tower project in Saudi Arabia. So what was Saudi Arabia's? How did they get so big? How did they get so big? Oil,
Yeah,
oil. Who started? Who started?
we all know. We all know how Saudi Arabia. We knew for sure. That's crazy. This information is it's insane, but at the same time, it's not surprising. I would say the people with the power are not the people in the top in government positions, but they're the people with the money to bribe the people in those government positions. They're the people who can buy those positions for people. They're the people who call the shots and run things behind closed doors, but they don't want to be the face of things. They don't want to be that bad guy. So they get certain people to be the face of it. And of course, for a certain amount, most people will do most anything. So it's just insane, man. It's the people behind closed doors that we don't know about. That's pulling all the strings.
Cutting into their oil? Well, Russia. Russia started cutting into the Saudi Arabia oil sales. Yeah, India buys from oil from Saudi Arabia now, but not nearly as much. And here are the details on this. You've got to know this, because this is where it starts getting a little confusing. You see, in 2021, before the war, Saudi Arabia provided 16% of India's crude oil imports. And even though India's overall imports grew, the share from Saudi Arabia decreased to 11%. That's a big hit.
Oh, yeah.
So by May 2024,
Definitely.
Russia's share of India's imports climbed to 41%. And since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Saudi Arabia's oil sales have dropped and shifted, not due to the lack of buyers, but it was because the OPEC plus production cuts and new market dynamics. And while the initial invasion pushed oil prices to record highs and benefited Saudi Arabia in 2022, the subsequent OPEC plus policy and increasing competition from Russian oil redirected to Asian markets have changed the whole landscape. So Saudi Arabia got screwed, or feel like they're getting screwed because they're playing by the OPEC plus rules. This policy here is what's directly reduced the volume of Saudi crude being sold. So now we have a profit decline. And the lower sales volumes and drop in crude prices from 2022 highs have led to a significant decrease in profit for Saudi's Aramco oil company in March 2024.
So my question is, Saudi feels like they got screwed, but because they're playing by the OPEC rule. But the question I have is, if playing by the OPEC rules, do those rules favor Saudi over everybody else? And so Saudi is the advantage, but now Saudi's mad because everybody doesn't want to play by the rules that Saudi comes out on top with. They're playing by their own rules, and now they're getting freaked because they oil is much cheaper elsewhere. And to me, India and any country that bought the cheaper oil, they're doing it for the national interest of their people, so they have to suffer less, which makes complete freaking sense. Um, yeah, and now you can understand why Saudi's definitely pulling the strings, and now the U.S. does something so stupid, such as absolutely ruin a relationship with India, a relationship that we've been nurturing for so long, all to try to get them to buy oil again from Saudi and put money back in their pockets.
The state-owned oil giant just reported that its 2022 or 2023 profits dropped nearly 25% in 2022. So India,
25%.
as India is going up by buying and selling this oil, Saudi Arabia is the one who's mad here. And as Western sanctions limited Russian oil buyers for many countries except countries like China and India, they jumped on it.
Yeah.
Of course, right? Who wouldn't? I would
For
too.
sure.
Go Modi.
Yeah.
Go Z.
Fact.
I mean, who wouldn't? So they jumped on it. And so China and India, they ramped up their imports of discounted oil crude from Russia.
Yeah.
And this has allowed Russia to supplant Saudi Arabia as the top crude supplier to China. And that's affecting Saudi Arabia's market share in Asia. However, some data suggests that Saudi Arabia is beginning to reclaim some of the market share in Asia, but they're still way down. And Russian oil got so cheap that Saudi Arabia even started buying it because they couldn't compete. They didn't want to sell the oil that cheap. They were waiting until it goes back up. And when does it go back up? Well, it goes back up when the war ends. And when we look at this, and we look at the PIF in Saudi Arabia, along with China and the UAE, it provided significant financial assurances here. They all did. That were crucial for Pakistan to secure the IMF loan in May of 2025. The IMF rules require member countries to secure financing commitments from other bilateral partners to ensure their debt is sustainable and the IMF loan can be successful. That wasn't the United States. That was Saudi Arabia. Here's how the Saudi Arabia support factored into the process. The financing assurances. To unlock full IMF packages, Pakistan was required to get financing assurances from its key allies, according to the IMF officials. Yes. Saudi Arabia, China, and the UAE all provided these commitments, which went beyond simply rolling over existing loans. So they got more money. Yeah. And they roll over the loans, both. But those are the countries that did it. And Saudi Arabia has a history of providing financial lifelines to Pakistan. As recently as July 2023, the kingdom deposited $2 billion into Pakistan's central bank just before the critical IMF meeting. In the past, this kind of bilateral finance has been a prerequisite for the IMF board approval. And in April of 2025, Pakistan's finance ministers acknowledged Saudi Arabia's role, calling it instrumental in securing the deal with the IMF. The IMF's press release.
Oh, this is bonkers. Like hearing about what goes on behind closed doors, IMF, International Monetary Fund, hearing about how Pakistan is continuously being funded by certain nations, by certain countries, is crazy. This is insane. This news is like, oh, this is bonkers.
On May 18th, 2025, also noted that substantial progress has been made on committed financing, which included support from who? Saudi Arabia. So in this broader relationship beyond the IMF process, Saudi Arabia is the critical economic partner for Pakistan. Yeah. It's the major source of foreign remittances and remains Pakistan's largest external financier, providing more financial assistance than any other country. And when you see somebody like this man sitting down next to President Trump, okay, when you see that, and they're sitting down next to each other at a UFC fight next to Elon Musk, these are businessmen. Yeah. These are men doing business. And they're securing each other's future and making sure they get those ties that are in. Now, before I end, I don't want to end with that because there's more. Before we get into that, this gentleman right here, Trump media will buy $105 million in Crow coins. So now we're out of the oil. You have your oil, which is Al-Rumayyan. Okay, there's your oil. That's all Saudi. And whenever you see this, hey, we're putting tariffs on you because you're, well, call this guy up. I'm sure he could probably fix some things out if he gets in touch with Trump and says, okay, just let him go ahead and do it. No, that's not happening because Al-Rumayyan won't let it happen. Saudi Arabia is not going to let it happen. And they're holding Trump. It's not a souvenir. Like I said, he's just a little player. Now you got Al-Rumayyan with the oil and with the minerals for Pakistan. Dude, and they've loaned money. They've got securities. And when Trump always says, hey, yeah, if the U.S. comes in, you have your security. Well, the Kushner's there. Trump's there. They've got their security in Saudi Arabia, and now they're getting their security in Pakistan. Okay, so you've got your oil, and you've got your minerals, and you've got your real estate with Gentry. You've got your crypto with Witkoff, and also getting into the crypto and many other things. Osim Malik, another big player, along with JD Vance, believe it or not. But that's in one of my other videos. If you go check that out, which I'm sure, don't know why the media hasn't caught on to that one. But here we are. Now we are going to, when I go to crypto.com, everybody, do you watch UFC? This is what I'm talking about. Trump Media will buy $105 million in Crow tokens. That's crypto.com. The UFC, whenever you see a fighter go out, you see my shirt, UFC, Crow. That's what that means. And it's a token. Crypto.com takes $50 million in Donald J. Trump stock as part of a partnership that makes the Kronos token central to Truth Social reward systems everywhere, which is another media system. And here's where it starts to get fun because look,
Oh,
this token just jumped like crazy in the last couple of days, and that's when I said they're on, they're safe, they're moving. Okay, they're moving, and a lot of this money is going to Pakistan. Okay, this is what I'm trying to tell you. You need a media. You guys need a media that's going to limit this, put eyes on it before it goes too
yo.
far, and make them at least cautious of what they're doing. They're
It's just like, man, you see this, bro, and it's like, it's just frustrating here the rhetoric that they use behind calling so many people criminals and so many people certain things, and you see what they do behind closed doors. You get freaking they persecute gangs. They do all this, and I'm not saying that's bad because some gangs I feel like are violent gangs or dangerous criminals, right? Do need to be off the streets for sure. But my thing is, y'all are the just y'all are a gang just with money, and so you get away with everything that you want. Like this, you're doing it legally because you make the rules. Wow. Yeah, this is just, man. To me, this is bonkers. This is pure insanity. This is disgusting.
just doing this like blatantly, like you can't do
Yeah,
nothing because
exactly.
because nobody's finding it until late. Luckily, we found this is kind of early, actually. Now we go into the similar spaces here. The special acquisition companies in the SPACs markets have valued Bitcoin at a premium. April blank check separately on Tuesday. On the very bottom, it says separately on Tuesday. Investment firm 1789 Capital was launched by former Bank of America executive Omid Malik. Now that's the guy I'm talking about, and counts Donald Trump Jr. as a partner, and agreed to invest in predictions now on Polymarket. Okay, so now we're doing Polymarket. Okay, at crypto.com, you got the World Liberty Funds, is it? World Liberty Financial, and crypto.com, and now Polymarket. Read this. Still a member of crypto treasury companies continues to sprawl. In fact, Trump Media and crypto.com's public vehicle isn't even the first digital asset treasury in the Trump family's crypto empire. Earlier in August, World Liberty Financial, another Trump crypto Earlier in August, World Liberty Financial, another Trump crypto venture, announced that it had raised $1.5 billion with Alt 5 Sigma, a small former biotech firm, to launch a treasury strategy for the World Liberty Financial token. It's a perfect marriage for what the World Liberty is trying to accomplish and what they were already doing, said Matt Morgan, the chief investment officer and former biotech firm, told Fortune. It's a very symbiotic relationship. In
Right. It's funny because you hear so many people like when they talk about like the people say, "Ah, like he's like president, like dude for the money and all that," and people are like, "Actually, he's so generous and selfless that he donates his whole salary back to the American people, back to the government. He doesn't even accept the salary. He doesn't have to. That salary is peanuts for him." Because it's not the salary. Being in the position that he's in, he can make way astronomically more money than that peanuts of a salary that position is paid. But being in that position, being able to make certain moves on the board, being able to be in power, you create money for yourself, right? You can invest in things and make moves to assure that that investment pays off very well. That's much more than that measly salary. And it's not measly to me. So don't get it wrong. I'm saying it's a measly in comparison to the money that being in the position that he's in, he makes for himself, right? So it looks good to a lot of the people that root for him when he's donating his salary back, being or he's not taking a salary. They're saying, "Oh, like he's not doing it for the money. He's doing it for the country. He's doing it for the love of the country." But those people are either blatantly ignoring or ignorant to the fact. And I was ignorant to the fact. I mean, of course, I knew like probably for money some way somehow. I didn't know how it worked. I was ignorant to the fact that this was the situation going on behind closed doors. Like, well, yeah, and it makes you look amazing not to accept that salary. But I mean, to you, to somebody with as much money as him, and who can make way more money just being in that position and being able to move the pieces on the chessboard how he needs to. Yeah, that salary is peanuts compared to what he can do in that position financially and what he can make. Dang, that's
This
crazy.
right here, when you see, like, I believe that I'm pretty sure that they're doing this right here, is they're going to be taking the crypto.com money. And also, when they're pulling that out, they're going to be able to put that into the World Liberty Financial. Okay. So it's kind of together. It's kind of not, it's interesting how these things work, but it's a fun way of laundering money, right? So the Trump media firm raises $6.4 billion to invest in crypto.com. Its digital token deal includes purchase of Trump stock. And here we see this graph. This is where it went up just the other day. This is just, it just shot like, and now it shot from like what, in, if you go back here, from 12 cents to 27, it doubled. And now it's
That's
up, it's to
crazy.
36, 37. It's like tripled within 2 days. So what's going on? Are they hurting financially? No. Is Pakistan getting money? They are. And I believe that this could have been minimized if you had a better, uh, more people working on it. I mean, okay, when we look at something like this, okay, as being a media journalist, an investigative journalist, I look at it and I say, oh my gosh, who's that? They just said that that's $1.2 trillion. Who is that? You find
Hmm.
out who it is. And then, okay, who's next to him? Who's next to him? And I'm looking at all these people. Okay, we're connecting dots, right? Well,
Yeah.
whose mind is it that goes there and gets that? They get the information. They find out who he is, what he's doing there, and why, and who else is there. Now, other media's outputs who are very interested in this, investigative journalists, they have they have people there close by,
Mm.
keeping like 50 feet away. Okay, we can see everything he's doing. We know what he's eating. We know what he's drinking. We know what he's doing. Who's that guy there? Who's that there? Who's that there? Who's that there? Then they find out who everybody is, and most of it's a nothing burger. But once in a while, you
Yeah.
find that one that, oh, he just stepped in and sat down. You find that one that actually did, that plays a big part in what is
Yeah.
actually happening behind the scenes, and that's called investigative journalism. And then now there's a new name. There's a new name to be thrown out there for everybody. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I don't know who this man is. He is. I just know that he's the head of. He's the next man in line for the to be the Saudi prince,
Yeah.
and he's in charge of all the funds. Pretty big, and he's the one that is making all these deals, these big deals. You want big deals at Pakistan? That's your guy. You want deals? You want security with Pakistan? Trump seems to be the guy because he's sitting next to him.
Yeah.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this helps. I hope we got something out of this, and I hope that your media over there in India takes it somewhere and says, "Hey, look what we found." Okay, you can have the credit. Hey, use my clips, whatever you want to do. The message is always more important than the messenger. And I want to say thank you all for watching. I am very grateful to have you all. We appreciate you. We love you. I pray that the Lord bless you with prosperity, uh, give you peace and love over the beautiful country of India. And I just am so grateful to have you all with us here today. And thank you for joining us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Everybody out there, be blessed, and we will see you on the next one. Bye bye.
That was freaking that's crazy to kind of take all that information in, and think about it. And man, that situation is insane. Wow, that's all we have. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to smash subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Check out the next. I'll see y'all next one. Gee.